We have one more item to take, which I think we can do relatively quickly. This is the membership activity update. So, Trish, that's with you as well.
Yep.
We've had a good paper on it. If you want to give us a couple of lines, seconds of introduction, then we can ask some questions.
This paper provides an update to the board on our public members and a summary of the engagement activity we've undertaken with them in the previous 12 months and an outline of our plan for the coming year. Just the highlights are we currently have 20,500 members and in the past year we've undertaken a broad variety of engagement activities including the quarterly newsletter together and undertaking surveys which are all documented within the paper.
All right, does anybody have any questions on this? Tim?
Only what do we learn from June 2010, for instance, where only one member attended an event, and how cost effective our approach is?
Just expand that slightly because I've lost you.
Sorry, for instance, in Appendix 1, page 11 of 12, June 2010,
yes.
There was a specific invitation to members in Bristol to come to a focus group. One member responded and attended, which was good, but it's only one member. Is there any way we review that in terms of the cost effectiveness, the effort, the engagement required?
Yep, thank you. We'll hold on to that one. Louisa.
I wondered, and maybe it's here, I'm just not sort of clear enough, exactly sort of what our members are for. And so sort of job spec for what a member is. And it seemed to me that if we wanted them to come to board meetings, they needed a better proposition than just sort of come along. It'd have to be, what they would be there for and what they would do, and that perhaps something around meeting the board after coming to a board meeting, pushing their questions directly to the chief exec or something like that. Some sort of online community, feeding back very much what we do in terms of responding to their feedback would be nice.
Yes. No? Okay. Anything else? I'm putting myself in the queue, so I could go next. Nick, you can go next.
Okay. It struck me from this that we have some work to do on the profile of our members, both in terms of ethnicity and in terms of age. We need to be clear that we want to recruit members who reflect the broad population, but also take account of the people who use our service. However, we don't want that to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, it may be that our service doesn't appeal to people of a certain profile. We therefore, actually, even if we recruit them to reflect the population breakdown, we may not get their feedback in. So we just need to be very careful to look at the profiles. I think there's some issues there.
Yeah.
Skating thinly over it.
Yeah, just maybe I'm getting the data wrong, but I actually think we're overrepresented in ethnic groups. I don't know how that corresponds to responses coming back, but in terms of membership, we're underrepresented in white British and overreprepreted in ethnic groups.
You're right.
Yes.
But for example, for people over the age of 60, we are substantially underrepresented. Either that, or everybody over the age of 60 doesn't want to tell us how old they are.
And we did actually say we would address that within the paper. It would recognise that the age group rather than the ethnicity was something that we wish to address, and that is stated within the paper.
Sue, and then I'm going to...
I was just reflecting on this paper in comparison to where we were when we were first looking at Foundation Trust so long ago, however many years ago it was. I mean, this is a substantial move forward.
Absolutely.
So it's not to say that we haven't got a lot more that we need to do, but with actually relatively little effort. We seem to have got 20,000 plus members.
We have a baseline.
We have a baseline, and I'm actually quite heartened that we have here, and it's a good base.
Yes.
Push forward.
Okay. Trish, then Ruth, then me. Really, next time.
Thank you, Sue. It was particularly that comment I wish to address. We did approach these people initially in our first attempt at Foundation Trust, and I think we should recognise that we've maintained 20,500 members, which were recruited initially to do. There has been some slight change in that population. Some have left and new people have joined us, but the foundation of these members were recruited at a different time for a different reason, but we have managed to maintain them and engage with them.
Yes, thank you, Trish. Ruth.
It's the same point really, was that Foundation Trust was the driver for this in the first place. When Foundation Trust was pulled, I think we have managed to maintain the membership, grow the membership, and with minimum resources undertake the activity that we have undertaken. I think with FT approaching us again, we need to really think about this area and the resources we put into it and the activity we undertake as part of the FT plan.
Yes, I agree with that. And that takes me to some of the things I was interested in. So I've had quite a lot of interaction with the people who've been preparing this. I agree that it's a huge step forward. I still feel that it's not quite where we want to be. I suppose it's that I would very much have liked to have seen some benchmarking information about, how does this compare with other foundation trusts or organisations of our kind who have members. I would like to have understood a lot more about the cost effectiveness of the way that we do it compared with other organisations, because I still have a feeling that it's a very manual process compared with, we're not an organisation that has a particular expertise in managing a membership of this nature, and I think there's a great deal more that we could do, and I feel that we haven't got what Louisa described as an online community. We don't actually have the kind of interaction with our members that we could for relatively little money to get a lot of value out of them. And it was interesting that somewhere in this there was a comment that a member had said, well, where was the opportunity to feed back on the website? Well, yes, I mean, that's exactly what we need. So I think there's really, we have come an awful long way, but there's a long way still to go, particularly in terms of the value proposition for us and for them about being a member that we'll need to readdress if we're back on Foundation Trust, and even if we're not. So I'd like to see a lot more on this. Nick, were you going to?
No. I was.
So I'd like to look at this again quite soon. I'd like to see some benchmarking information. I'd like to see some thoughts about, if we're going back to think about FT, what's the right population for us, because that's debatable, and how are we going to turn this into a really a relationship between us and our members, whereby they have a lot of opportunity to talk to one another and feed back to us. Thank you.
Chair, just a final point. We have tried to benchmark ourselves against some other foundation trusts, and with our initial attempts where we had some difficulties in them sharing their membership numbers, how long they keep their members for, etc. with us. But I take that point and we'll pursue that.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, we're drawing to the end of our public agenda. It'd be helpful if I could find mine. Here we go. I haven't been informed of any other business. No. The next meeting of this board will be on the 31st of January. We are not yet sure exactly where it'll be. It'll certainly be online. The venue
It's likely to be here. It's
likely to be here, but we'll
sure.
post that on the website so that everybody can be clear. And for members, obviously, we'll have more direct communication. Members of the board, I mean. Can we please, probably for other members as well, Peter, we should have. Could I please encourage people to complete the evaluation form? Could I also ask visitors in the room to complete an evaluation form, which I think has been given to you? Thank you very much, everybody. We're going to close the public session now. We're going to have